What's going on YouTube? It's Brendan for Market Makers, your home for Wyckoff and Advanced Fibonacci TA. Guys, lots of news in the market today. The market traded in a very tight bandwidth, talking about the equities. We're going to get into equities. I'll show you oil real quick, and I'll probably put out a separate commodities video. I know a lot of you have questions about gold and silver, and those have been dropping, so we're going to look at that tomorrow, okay? I'll go ahead and do a commodities video as well. But let's talk about this, because a lot of economic news came out. Lots of job openings still out there. That looks good on paper. Unemployment still looks good on paper, but in the real world, you see big companies like Meta, which is Facebook, Tesla, they're canceling the amount of new hires, right? Or they're not hiring new people. Coinbase. So this is how this always starts, okay? We have earnings starting to come out. We'll have the banks coming out soon. And at the end of the month, you have Google and some other big companies coming out. And of course, July 13th is the CPI, guys. What is the inflation number in the US? The Fed meeting minutes came out today as well from the previous meeting. They were talking about the need to go 0.5 to 0.75 for this next meeting, which is, or the next rate hike, which is at the end of this month, okay? Right? The day after that is the GDP, like we talked about yesterday, which could show a technical recession already, which I should rephrase that, which will most likely show the US is already in a recession, okay? So lots of big news items that come out today and in the next couple of weeks. And just remember, when these companies actually revise their earnings, which they haven't done yet, when they start giving guidance and revising earnings for the rest of this year, for next year, that's when you could start to see layoffs as well. Unemployment is a lagging indicator because it happens in phases. Elon Musk tweets, "I have a bad feeling about the economy," pauses new hires. The next phase is, looks like we're not going to make as much money next year. So then you start looking at cutting back on employees because payroll is a huge piece of the economy. These things take time to unwind, and a lot, like I said, data-driven market, a lot of this is going to depend on that CPI and that GDP number. That CPI, July 13th, guys, if it's the same inflation rate, 8.6, that looks like we're not making a lot of progress fighting it. That just about guarantees 0.75. And in the meeting minutes, they even said they could go higher, okay? So if it's higher, if inflation's higher or the same, you could see 0.75 to a full 100 basis points. Be very interesting to see how that plays out. Now, conversely, if that comes in substantially lower, looks like the Fed's making progress. That could come down with the rate hike at 0.5. So that would be a bullish thing for the market. But again, that GDP number comes out the day after the Fed meeting at the end of July, and that's most likely going to show a recession. And in August, the Fed is off. So it's the Wild West in August, guys. It could be really fun to trade. We could get really bullish or really bearish. So we'll have to see how this starts playing out. I want to show you on my screen oil, guys. This is a trade I posted in Telegram and in the Discord. Oil's been selling off. We'll get into commodities tomorrow so we can look at gold, silver, and natural gas as well. But I put this in the Discord, and a lot of people, I'm showing you this trade because a lot of people are asking me about the mustache. Brendan, why the mustache? Why? And, you know, this mustache gave me forecasting abilities to see that oil was going to come down to 96, which I know the people in the room are laughing right now, but I had this at 96 for my entry, and look where we got to. Look where we got to, 96.04. Within 4 cents of the perfect entry there at 96, okay, and a $96 asset. So this was all thanks to the mustache. And of course, oil is oversold here. Commodities traders are very sharp. You know, having started off my trading in commodities, specifically in oil, I can tell you the most intelligent people who are plugged into the macros, who are plugged into sentiment in the environment, these people are sharp, okay? Gann as well was a professional commodities trader. A lot of equities traders, they kind of live in little bubbles and they just focus on their little area. But commodities, you got to be paying attention to world events, geopolitical events, you know, home elections, everything. It all matters. And so, you know, this was a big sell-off. They're pricing in a recession. Unlike a lot of the equities people, the talking heads you see on TV, the commodity traders don't believe the Fed, okay? They think we're going into recession. Hence, the sell-off in energy, because why would that happen? If the economy contracts, you don't use as much energy. You would be killing demand, okay? But again, I do believe this is oversold. Here's our 200, 233 on the daily for WTI. This is West Texas oil. And so this is where, we got to 96, got a nice bump. We actually got within 15 cents of hitting 100. 100 being that mythical number that people like, just kind of like what 20K is right now for Bitcoin. 100 is, are we above 100, below 100 for commodities traders? So I think this is going to come back up. But this, for the intermediate time here, I do think this is a trading range for oil. I have the 382 at 100, 0.5 at 102, 618 at 103.56. 1 fib at 108 and 1618 at 115. I kind of think that's going to be your new range until something else happens, right? Because remember, there's a conflict going on in Eastern Europe. Any amount of bad news as far as supplies, especially as the summer starts wearing on in Europe, when they start approaching winter, there's going to be some big energy spikes regardless of a recession. All has to do with supply and demand. So we shall see. But 100 to 115, I think that's kind of the sweet spot for trading energy right now. So getting an entry down here just above the GAN 45. Again, we wick down below it. Again, we've hit this support area several times before and we've had great rises. So this is something I'm going to hold on to and see if we can hit some targets. But let's go ahead and talk about the markets and jump into Bitcoin. Markets traded in a very tight range today, guys. So, looking at the S&P, plus 18.7 points, spot 5%, and we are in after hours trading, I believe, right now. I think. I don't know. I've been up so long. I don't even know what time it is. So very tight bandwidth here. You can see we're above the GAN 45 on the daily time frame. Again, volume is low, guys. Now you're still in bullish or just below bullish territory on your median line on money flow. Remember, this is a volume-weighted RSI. If you do want this indicator, guys, you get this indicator by joining our room on the Discord or the Telegram. Join button for the Discord right beneath this video, the Telegram, as well as all the exchanges that we trade on with the bonuses. All that information is in the video description. So looking at this, again, you're still bullish in this situation. Everything is going to depend on the data that this month produces, right? Something very keen to keep watch on here. Still trying to bump up into this Ichi cloud here. You can see we're right at that 382 level of 38.57, and we're just working our way along here, and this cloud will thin out, as all of them do, as long as you can hold your accumulation range, right? Whole premise here of cloud trading. Hold this range. If you don't get knocked down, you're going to at some point attempt to punch out. That punch out will fail at key resistance, perhaps a moving average or something else like that, or it will succeed. On the 8 hour, you're still bullish. You're still in the positive territory above the EMA. Let's check out the NASDAQ. NASDAQ outperformed the S&P, up 89.4, which is spot 76%. So the NASDAQ had a decent day, but as you can see, guys, it's very tight ranges. That's all you're doing is trading in these tight ranges, these accumulation ranges, and look at the volume. The volume is negligent, okay? Negligible. There's nothing here. I guess the volume can't be negligent. So there's nothing here, low volume. Let's check out the Russell real quick. We'll jump over to Bitcoin. So the Russell also on the daily volume is extremely low, below average volume. And again, just range trading. Russell at one point was down the most. It pulled back up and looks like it's down spot 55% at the time of this recording right now. So let's jump over to Bitcoin, guys. Get this out of the way. And let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin on the weekly, we're going to skip that because as you guys know, we went over this a couple days ago and it hasn't changed yet. So on the daily time frame, always touching these key points, guys. We're still at these roughly 36.5 area for the long-term moving averages. Bitcoin's still just making its wave pattern at the bottom of the Donchian, right? So, just based on Donchian principles, you could see a rise up at some point to this level, which would be 31,600, 31,700. But, again, I don't see any indication of that yet. Money flow is positive. You're not oversold here on the daily, but again, daily volume, extremely low. Voyager Digital also officially filed for bankruptcy, another crypto lender / exchange. So they officially filed for bankruptcy. So there's still a lot of fallout in the crypto space, guys. Let's turn this off and let's look at Ichi really quickly. By the way, that Donchian that I use is from Lux, Lux. People are asking about that. It's the Donchian zigzag because I like my zigzag stuff. Lux likes zigzags too, so it works out well. Still a very strong cloud here, guys. Still a very strong cloud, and it's still advancing lower. You see this? It's still going lower. You're not seeing this really thin out yet because we need more accumulation here in the daily. We got this gap. We still have this area here where you could see some movement in Bitcoin, but that's why we got to go look at the lower time frames and see exactly what's happening. So 8 hour time frame. Went over this the other day. what would happen if you lose 18,820, that double top scenario. Since we have the support and since Bitcoin's on a little bit of a pump, let's go ahead and take this off. Clean this chart up a little bit. We are below the 45 in current trend. We are positive in money flow. And let's go ahead and get a wave projection for resistance for Bitcoin, okay? So we'll start on that swing low to that swing high up here, the highest swing high there, down to this swing low. And this lays out really beautifully. Look at this. The 0.5, 20,752, you wicked it here again, you got rejected. So I like this layout. So the 382 is 20,245, the 0.5 at 20,752, the 618 at 21,259. This is on the 8-hour time frame, guys. But I like this layout, so I would carry this over to my smaller time frames. The 1 fib at 22.9 and the 1618 at 25,558. But again, no indications yet, guys. You know, we have this larger Wyckoff structure here. I could go ahead and tighten this up and just look at it like this. Give us a base. Let me go ahead and change these colors. All right. Oh, dots. Need a line. Yeah, that's more visible. There we go. Go ahead and change these colors. I mean, your ceiling's up here because of that wick. So what you can see what you're doing here, right? So what I would want to see price do is get above this 0.5. Most likely find some type of retracement or resistance and get its pullback, holding that 0.5 at 20,752. Here I'd start to get a little bit more bullish, making higher lows in the range. Okay, you see this above your whole 55. If you can get up here and start holding these higher lows like this, you have a series of higher lows, Bitcoin would still look more bullish. I would look at your momentum indicators. I would look at your money flow. If you're not in our room and you do want to use an indicator like the money flow, there are money flow indicators on TradingView, and they have their own stock one, MFI, and it's not a bad one. It's just nowhere near as pretty, and it doesn't have a moving average, but you can definitely use that. Again, it's a volume weighted RSI. So this is what I want to see the pathway if Bitcoin continues this bullish motion. Flip 0.5, hold it as support. You could do the same thing here. You could flip 382 and hold it as support, but basically you need to base, okay? You need to base, and then you need upward momentum to start moving up. And let's look at our clouds and Donchian here, and let's advance again. Let's go ahead and throw this on here. What do we got here? Cloud. There we go. So the 8 hours getting closer to impact. And look at that, right where we were talking about what we need to do here, right? So again, you could see Bitcoin come up here, come up, hit this, or if it does it over here, come up, hit this, and pull back. And how you, if you pull back and hold this structure, this is more bullish, right? But if you just keep getting knocked down as you contact the cloud, then you're just falling right back into this range and you're just making waves, right? But you're getting a very nice tuck in here. You see that? So this, once again, I've been really good at picking these targets of where we can punch through. This, you know, one thing I've been good at so far with Ichi is really picking these targets, right? So this is an area where you could definitely see some movement to the upside based on the resistance level just in the Ichi trading system, okay? And again, I have videos on how to use this as well in our Discord channel, guys, if you want some education that's available to you there. And volume, again, on the 8 hour time frame, I really focus on volume on the daily. That's how Wyckoff traded. That's where Wyckoff did his analysis, was on a daily. But I'll look at some of the larger time frames like 8 hour, even some of the 4 hour, but 1 hour and below, I don't pay much attention to it, to be brutally honest. Let's go ahead and look at the 4 hour time frame. This is the exact quadrant we identified the other day that I talked about again last video, punching through the weak part of the cloud. This is good. I mean, this looks good, okay? You got above this next scan level. You're trying to work your way through the 4 hour cloud, which will then allow you to work your way through the 8 hour cloud. Remember, baby steps on the way up, okay? And then you want to work your way up and keep holding these higher lows. Just a basic TA principle. You want to keep holding higher lows in your range, get your pullback and get your momentum. Now your money flow is approaching overbought area, okay? Just be aware of that. Volume, again, you had decent average, this is average volume. You had decent average volume here on 4 hour, and you're getting some nice movement up. So we'll see if Bitcoin can keep this up. That would be a nice change of pace. I'm running out of time here. It's almost 15 minutes. Try to keep these things about 15 minutes for you guys. Let's look at the Donchian here on the 4 hour. Let's turn off Ichi, then we'll take a look at the 1 hour and see what we're doing there. So Donchian, we're right near the top of our trend, which again makes sense. If you start to see a pullback here, you want to hold it. Got to hold that higher low, get some bullish momentum. Where's our 200, 233? These are about 23,000 and about 23,526. Where does that line up on the 8 hour? 23,000, 20. So basically around the 1 fib. You see that? So that's where your 4 hour moving averages are. Not that it matters. You can just look at the 4 hour time frame, but basically your 4 hour 200, 233 are doing this, right? So I just like to look at impact areas. So if you did come through the cloud, this would be a big test if you were looking at the 8 hour, because that's where these are at on the 4 hour. Okay. So just keep an eye on that. Let's go to the 1 hour, see what we're doing here. Get rid of these drawings. And we got, once again, we got above the 200 and 233. Congratulations, Bitcoin. It has been a struggle. We need a drum roll for this. Again, the 1 hour volume looks good because it's 1 hour volume. Have some, you have at least a, what is it, a 2 sigma candle here. Some good above average volume as well. So this is good. Didn't quite go overbought. That's good. You're in bullish money flow territory. So this all looks good, guys. Making some baby steps, making some progress. Keep an eye on those targets I identified for you. I'll pop out that commodities video for you guys tomorrow as well. And yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody.